I'm Lamont Sanders, and this is Gospel Goodies Radio on Philly's Favor 100.7. If you missed this past week's headlines, Aaliyah and Marie are here with what you missed. What's good, Aaliyah?
So here's what's happening in entertainment. Netflix and Pharrell Williams have teamed up to release a new series that follows the making of a new gospel choir meant to take gospel music to a new dimension. The unscripted series, titled Voices of Fire, premiered on Friday with a peek at Pharrell and gospel leaders embarking on a quest to find undiscovered talent. The series includes choir director Patrick Riddick and Pharrell's uncle, Bishop Ezekiel Williams. And Ezekiel Williams is actually the general overseer, pastor, and founder of Faith World Ministries. Speaking of talent, BB Winans just added consultant to his list of working titles. The singer has been tapped to serve as a consultant and personal advisor to BMI president and CEO Mike O'Neill. His guidance will contribute to BMI's effort to be a more diverse, equitable, and inclusive workspace. In other news, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion special premiered this past week on HBO Max in honor of the sitcom's 30th anniversary, and it was definitely worth the wait. The reunited cast shared audition stories and their favorite scenes, and both Aunt Viv's, happy about this one, made an appearance. And we learned that Jazzy Jeff had no intentions, no interest in being on the show at all. And I just want to know, can you imagine Fresh Prince without Jazz? Like, no Jazz? He was such a staple.
Exactly.
Are you serious? Like, who else is going to get kicked out the house?
Exactly. That's how we know what the front of the house looks like.
Right.
Right.
Because of Jazz. That's good.
But moving right along, our prayers are with Bobby Brown as he mourns the loss of another child. The singer's second oldest son, Bobby Brown Jr., has passed away. Bobby Brown Jr., who was a singer himself, was found dead in his Los Angeles home on Wednesday. He was just 28 years old. Marie, what's good in Philly, national, and sports news?
Thanksgiving is normally the most traveled holiday of the year due to the warnings from the health and government officials. AAA is expecting a drop in travel at least 10%, which would be the largest one-year reduction in travel since the Great Recession in 2008. Of nearly 50 million people expected to travel this week, despite health warnings, 95% are expected to do so by car. AAA said other modes of travel like air, train, and bus are expected to see steep declines from last year as well. CNN reported that regardless of the mode of transportation, any travel away from your home is very risky this year. So if you think just because you have negative test results, it means that you don't have the coronavirus, you could be wrong. It can take days before a new infection shows up on a COVID-19 test. Emergency medicine physician Dr. Lena Nguyen said that the incubation period for COVID-19 is up to 14 days. And before that, you can be tested negative and have no symptoms. But you could actually be harboring the virus and still be able to transmit it to others. It's just not worth it. Both Pennsylvania and New Jersey have surpassed more than 300,000 coronavirus cases since the onset of the pandemic. Speaking of which, Philadelphia is officially on lockdown. Last week, Philadelphia ordered the immediate closure of several businesses, entertainment venues, and tourist attractions until the new year. That even includes some of the outdoor tourist attractions. Following Philadelphia's Safer at Home guidelines, all indoor sites found at Independence Hall Park, including the Liberty Bell Center, Independence Hall, and the visitor centers, are closed. In other news, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie said Trump has failed to provide any evidence of fraud, that his legal team was in shambles, and that it's time to put the country first. Calling what Trump is doing is a national embarrassment. Christie's comments followed another request from the Trump campaign to recount votes in Georgia. CNN reports that the recount is extremely unlikely and to change his loss in the state. President-elect Joe Biden, who was declared the winner Friday as the state certified the results, has 12,670 vote lead over Trump in Georgia. Here in Pennsylvania, U.S. Middle District Judge Matthew Brand in Williamsport turned down the request for an injunction by President Donald Trump's campaign. In sports, big news for Sixer fans. Dwight Howard has agreed to a one-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. According to ESPN, the contract is for the veteran minimum exception of $2.6 million per league resources. Dwight Howard heads to Philadelphia after helping the Los Angeles Lakers win the past season's NBA title. I'm Marie, and you're listening to Gospel Goodies Radio on Philly's Favor 100.7. For these stories and more, follow us on social media at Marie Brown Moore, at Gospel Goodies, and at Philly's Favor. Visit phillysfavor.com and download the Philly's Favor app.